March changed everything. April begins a new life, a new series of events, a new phase for people, but also Earth.
Welcome to Help from Heaven. We are about to channel Jesus through my co host, the beautiful and talented Miss Constance Fox. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share to help our messages reach more of humanity so we can raise the consciousness of the planet. I invite you to join our private community that is uncensored, unscripted, live messages where we answer your questions. We have all of our teaching courses there, which are all channeled messages from higher beings to help you reach enlightenment and break the reincarnation cycle in this lifetime. If that sounds like you, click to join. In the last episode, Jesus told us that he wanted to talk today about feeling closer to God's love and that love is always within us. So, does he want to get back into that topic today?
Oh, that sounds like a beautiful topic. I'd love to hear more about. It's so it's Jesus and Divine Mother. And for those that aren't familiar, again, that's just really the feminine aspect of God the Father. There's the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect of the Creator. So Divine Mother is also with Jesus today. As is commonly the case, they often come together, which is interesting, but not always. Jesus is saying, there's more to be revealed today about, ooh, this is a topic I did not want to get on about, the Iranian war.
Well, we
So
are getting down to the nitty gritty of our dates that we talked about from the Galactic Federation. So,
yeah, I know. Actually, Divine Mother Celebration, I think, ended the 27th or 29th, and then 9 days after that, I know they had mentioned. So during that
yeah, it was
9-day
like,
period and 9 days after, which kinda goes in through the first week of April. So, yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see what's coming up here this next week. But wow, I thought we were gonna get on a different topic. I've had enough of
yeah, a
talking
little
about
lighter.
yeah, I've had enough of talking about world events and things like that. I like getting on to the things that talk about expanding our love and consciousness and all of that stuff. But I'm totally not going to sit here and argue with Jesus. There's something that he wants to talk about, obviously,
Right.
involving
We are
this.
just a
So,
messenger.
yeah. So, but yeah, something about the Iran war. And this is Jesus. Yeah. Um, okay. All right. There's going to be like kind of like a meltdown from the Iranian war that brings a lot of tumultuous times for a period of time. Something stemming. It's going to stem from the Iran war. So it's something that's comes out from that. A kind of like a nuclear experience or a nuclear emitting, like a nuclear pollution. And is that right? Yeah. And it's an unexpected surprise that brings what's technically considered, I guess at that time, it produces or creates a World War III. And there's something that's going to create a World War III stemming from this Iranian war. It brings out like a toxic exposure that's not that's it is kind of like nuclear. I mean, it's like toxins from that type of substance. So it goes out into the air and it settles on the ground and on plants and whatever, whoever. And it contaminates that, whether it's the ground, a tree, food, plants, an animal, a person. It contaminates this substance that's like kind of like almost like a dust in the air, and then it settles down, and then it's actually very poisonous. It's from a nuclear explosion, and that's the effect after it. And this is why you need to go north. This is why a lot of areas in the world are not going to be good to be at. And this is why there's also going to be a lot of calamity and chaos and lack of everything functioning as normal. There's many disruptions. Many people are not working, or businesses are not operating anymore, or a lot of things like that. So there are major supply shortages on all levels and in many different categories of substances or things or materials. This will be a short conversation on this. Like, I will say this and then like move on to like the topic that we're going to talk about before, which is very different. Yeah. How do we connect more to God and God's love and express our own love or bring that out more, whatever the topic was that, like you mentioned. But, there's just something important that Jesus is bringing this out, of course. Is, this is time now to have a bi-weekly episode, so that means a bi-weekly video for this topic of discussion. So if people have questions about it, we can answer questions. It's just about this topic. World events, how to plan and prepare for the future, how to be safe, how to thrive, how to, be well, do well, help others, and be the quote, healers and rebuilders that we are and want to be, where we help heal the planet and Mother Earth and people and animals and ourselves and help each other heal and grow and evolve to God consciousness. But that's should be like one topic. So I guess he's asking us indirectly. So this is new
Okay.
for us, Stacy. So every other week, he wants us to do an additional video where we just talk about this topic, for those that need and want to hear more about it and to help inform and so forth. So yes. And then the Sunday videos that we're doing now and you do every Sunday will continue to be, on the main topic of healing and expanding consciousness, emotional healing, spiritual growth, raising consciousness, and what really our main theme is all about. But I guess he wants us to be talking about that to help a lot of people and give out information and prepare us and so forth. So, okay, well, I'm up for that. I'm sure you are too, Stacy.
Always. I'd do this every day if I could. If you could. What's our timeline on this? Is it same? Like we're at the end of March and beginning of April. That's what the GFL, Galactic Federation of Light, I can never say that fast,
April,
had
April,
us
April changes the
April.
course of everything. Everything shifting to really World War III and being in a time of preparing for what's to come and that being more clear and obvious to people, that being more believable and where you can almost foresee a lot of those things happening or coming or good potential for that anyway. So
So for April, is it in the United States or too close for comfort off the coast of BC, our East Coast border? Is this where he's referring to in America, or are there going to be other fallout areas, other countries impacted, or is this mainly United States that he's referring to?
the United States will remain kind of intact, physically intact, like the earth, the ground is not technically damaged, and others will get the what you call like the fallout or that dust or that poisonous stuff in the
Fallout.
air. And and I feel it goes to the right. So like I just want to ask, is that still going to like, I know there's a lot of different sections of the Atlantic Ocean, but kind of like what you would consider, east of the United States. And is it still going to be going into the ocean? I know that was touched on before or mentioned. Yes, yes, and yes. The ocean, but the remnants of the explosion will like kind of go more east and will not particularly affect the United States, but it will be worldwide concern, worldwide kind of like calamity. It will be life changing for the world as a whole. and it will start a World War III, technically. That's gonna be maybe technically announced or official, instead of quietly or not acknowledged, but it already is. Yes, and it starts a series of events that lead to other, kind of forms of destruction or damage. And I guess if you have like a World War III, then you have like maybe some damage going on in different locations or destruction. And so it kind of leads to that. And oh, this is oh. He says Trump makes a huge mistake. Wow, really? I'm disappointed to hear that. And Trump, so he makes a huge mistake. Um, he thinks the United States was able to prevent this, and it was not able to, or it did not anyway. And that was like really kind of the mistake. Happens next. So he's saying this in a question format almost like, so if the world's technically in a World War III situation, what happens next? Um, Imagine like all countries are in fight or flight mode, protective mode, traveling's not open necessarily. Importing, exporting is very much interfered, and everyone's not happy or peaceful or relaxed. Many people are not having fun. They're not going out. They're not enjoying life like normal. They're not doing normal things. Everyone's under like kind of a dark cloud, so to speak. And that really changes the energy of everything. Um, Now cities are in like great calamity. Cities especially are in real problematic calamity. Way too many people in a small circumference or small area, and completely reliant on everything functioning as normal to live comfortably and well and healthy and whole. And so now a lot of that's disrupted. And so now you have tons of people that are fearful or panicking, and so that's a real problem. So being in nature, the mountains, away from cities, like just more country areas away from the cities is that's always best, not being in the cities. So that alone, and then being in communities with others where you're friends, you're there to help support each other and help give each other what you need to survive and thrive and live well and have what you need, and take care of everyone. You cannot live like solo, all alone, one household, and live and provide everything you need. You need to be in a community setting. So that's what needs to be discussed more for the purpose of planning and helping you be better prepared, know what to do, how to do it, where, when, all of this. And what to expect kind of, coming up, because this is the time now that everything starts to kind of materialize, manifest, um, from what's been going on in the background and maybe hidden and not so open. And now it's going to create this. And then all of a sudden it's like that. So, okay, well, that certainly turned the conversation.
Well, most of us are in cities, and most of us do not have the resources to buy land at the moment because it is very, very pricey. So, how are most people supposed to navigate this without proper
Yeah,
monetary fundage?
yeah, good question. Make connections, make um communities help each other out. you're all going to be needing each other. Like, even if someone has plenty of money and they have everything they need and they're, let's say they're rich, if society is going to be different, maybe that person could buy the property themselves and then make it available for multiple people to come on. That's just one example, but everyone's going to have to help support each other for their own sake. It's wonderful to do that just to help other people, but also for their own sake. Uh, and this is also what we'll talk about more as well during this video, kind of all of these things or answer questions about it. Wow. So April, just something's really kind of big is going to shift or change and change events. And it just kind of sounds, yeah, not in a positive, not for the good. I know
I don't feel
everything's
like
for the
this
good,
is
but
far off. I've seen that a lot of the troops that are being deployed are being prepared and trained for fallout, like radiation
what?
trained. I just saw an
What
article
troops?
somewhere. We're sending ground troops. Like I live near an Air Force base. Lots of clients' kids are getting called up and sent over.
Why would we be
Um,
going out to, what, Iran?
mhm.
American troops?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would
They're
American
getting
troops be going out there to go on the land of Iran? Why would we do
they're
that?
getting deployed because we're in a war.
But we don't need to go out there and be feet on the ground anymore. Don't we just, shoot missiles?
We only have so many of those and they take a long time to make. So I know Israel's kind of already running out of a few things. And you have to have like certain rare earth minerals that are involved in some of these high tech missiles and stuff. So, but yeah, different airbornes are
What are they
being
supposed to do
prepared
over
for
there?
deployment.
What are they gonna
Hmm?
do over there?
I'm not sure what the official objective is with troops on the, troops on the
Hmm,
ground, but they are being sent over. I
kinda
know a lot of
crazy.
people, clients personally that their kids are getting deployed, their spouses are getting deployed. Yeah.
Gosh, see, I'm so out of the loop since I don't watch the news or
Yeah.
anything.
We are in a war, just undeclared. It's a little scary saying that we have to be in, communities. Nobody's ready for this. And even just to buy land, the paperwork takes more than
Yeah,
a
I
month
know.
to get that going. So like how,
One, you
yeah,
have to
Michael.
have, you know, the monetary means, so you have to have a lot of money, basically, and
Yeah. Mm.
and then to, yeah, find a property, and then to build multiple houses on it, and then connect with other people and get the right people that you feel you would be supportive of everybody and also bring in certain skills or talents or gifts that would be needed for everyone. I mean, that's a lot of planning. That's a lot of time. That's, minimum of a year to get that together and probably even longer. And then to make a self-sustaining community that's not dependent on the electricity company, that's not dependent on the city water, that's can provide its own food, um, medical, dental, all, vet, all of those things. I don't know. That's sounds pretty overwhelming.
It's a big undertaking, yeah, at this point. Is there any help coming for us financially?
When people realize they need to do this to kind of survive and thrive, people will start being proactive and pulling together what they have and connecting with others, having that goal and intention. Um, there have been many doing this already that have seen this day coming already, and have already been preparing and are already prepared. And some have not. They've been disconnected from seeing like a more real perspective, maybe like just narrow minded, focused on work, doing what we need to do to survive and live on the hamster wheel. That's been me too. Yeah. I mean,
And we've known about this for 10 years. He's been telling us to build communities, but
yeah, you're right.
I don't have the resources.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people are in a pickle between a rock and a hard place with this. But you're
Yeah. I
saying
mean,
that
we work full time, more than full time, just to pay the rent or mortgage and the car payment and our bills and just kind of living on the hamster wheel like most of the working class in America are. It's not really feasible to save that kind of money and be able to just go buy some beautiful property and build multiple houses and make it off the grid. That's like millions and millions of dollars.
Just the cost of land alone and real estate has gone up so exponentially in the last 3, 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's either
It's like
multiple
double.
hundreds of thousands or even millions, depending on, how you're gonna do it, but anyway.
But, I don't know, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough hearing this. I'm not ready, and then it makes me panicky.
Yeah. Well, it's just particularly a little aggravating, to say the least, is maybe a nice way of wording it, but, it can be fearful or upsetting, or disturbing. It's just when you don't have the resources and we're just sitting here with our hands tied behind our back, where we can't do one single thing to plan for what we're hearing about is coming. And that we believe and now can even start to foresee more easily and more easily with what's going on in the world. But it's really just a matter of money. In all honesty, you can get well prepared if you have the money, and if not, you're just going to be a sitting duck where you're at, and you can't do anything except just keep doing what you're doing and staying completely unprepared. And so that's a little aggravating,
Yeah.
yeah, to say
Any
the least.
comment on that from Jesus?
He said, "You all created this, and you all will bring another way on earth when the need for changing everything, literally like upside down, changing everything, the way of life, the way of living, our state of being, meaning everyone's state of being and how we live. And like everything needs to like do a 180. And there used to be heaven on earth, peace on earth, the Garden of Eden. And you all chose to become gods in your mindset over the one supreme creator or God. And in time, you turned your back on needing God, wanting God's love, needing God, relying on God, thanking God, and coming from that perspective to living life basically without God awareness, without God consciousness. And for a very, very long time, it's brought destruction and war and destruction and war and destruction and war, much suffering that humans do to each other, do to yourselves and each other and animals and the Mother Earth, inflict suffering greatly. And this has been going on for eons, a very long time. And now, yet again, it comes because you're all living life without God awareness, without knowing your Father, without knowing who you are inside your body. Who are you? The eternal part of you, your soul. So much has been lost of the beauty, the perfection, the love, the awe of life. But there's a but here. He says, but God will never let you all destroy yourselves, like completely, destroy humanity completely. So now there is destruction and a complete turning of events, a turning of everything to create harmony on earth again, love on earth again, and expanding your awareness because you're in this state of living with love and harmony, simply put. And then that alone enables consciousness expansion or expansion of our consciousness. It's actually natural, but it's blocked from stress, fear, hatred, anger, guilt, shame, sorrow, all these, stressors. It's blocked. So when those blocks are removed, Your, meaning humanity, us, excuse me, you're living in harmony with Mother Nature, your true self, the rhythm of life. Mother Nature, God's rhythm, you will expand consciousness quickly, easily, and become whole again and create peace on earth again, love on earth again, givingness, sharing, kindness, caring, all of this. And then the beauty. So during this time of calamity where there's a complete rearranging of things on earth, which is obviously for a blessing for us, I guess you could call it a blessing in disguise. You need to um, make make it your goal to help where you can, do what you can, and and just give love in the interim. Give lovingness, kindness, caring. Just give love in the interim, no matter what. And you know, you will be brought what you need. If you stay in a state of grace or peace or harmony, I guess some could call that in trust or faith. He's not saying those words, but I guess some word that, oh, have trust, have faith, know that God's with you and God will take care of you or what you need. But you kind of mean it like that, Jesus, when you say in peace, in grace, in a state of harmony? And he goes, yes, yes, exactly. You cannot be lost. You cannot be forgotten. God cannot forget you or lose you. If you stay connected to God, you will be grabbed by the hand and taken to where you need to be for safety, comfort, love, and everything that a human needs for happiness and fullness, materially and spiritually. That's a big part of the message as well during that video. It's also informing us about a lot of things, but it's also to keep you in the right frame of mind and energy. So abundance cannot stay away. It must materialize because it is time to be free. Um, there's also more momentum in the world energetically that's moving things forward, that's moving, and that's a big influence as well. And the momentum that is influencing us and all, there's this momentum or force, movement of energy that cannot be stopped. It's Father's energy, and it's in a motion. It's in a certain motion, and it cannot be stopped by anything. And it's accelerating everything. Good, bad, what we call good, bad, or indifferent. It's accelerating everything, moving everything more quickly, making things come together or happen quickly.
Today is Sunday, and that is Wednesday, so by the
April
time this video
1st.
comes out, it will be April. But yeah, the GFL did say that too. They said
Oh,
something's
is
gonna
it?
happen end of March, and you're not gonna really know what it is until the
I
first
know what's
couple days
going
of April.
on really until
Yeah,
April for some
but
reason.
then it was like the United States was under attack, and sleeper cells in New York, and an atomic bomb off the coast, and then it's gonna affect the crust of the earth and, like, rising sea levels and all this stuff. Is that all on track?
I just find it hard to believe all those things happening in the very near future. I guess it's
Same.
just hard for me to
Could it be a
fathom.
couple months off?
Yeah.
Preferably?
Or maybe it's just the beginning of all these things that are gonna
Mhm.
happen one after another over the
Right.
next
A
few to
cascade.
several years or whatever. These events are coming, and everything is officially starting April. Like, there's something in this month where it really instigates or, okay, we're officially, like, in a World War III, and then just things continue, like, from that. Yes, yes, yes. March changed everything. April begins a new life, a new series of events, a new phase for people, but also Earth. But God's energy brings to those what they need when they need it, and so it could be information and they're brought that. It could be, a special doctor that heals something they need. It could be connecting with the right people or friends. I mean, it's just, millions of things. And God just brings what's needed. So that's just one thing of millions and millions of things God's coordinating continuously.
Okay, so we have a question from the community. If you're interested in joining our community, links below. We get to record the podcast with us in our audience and ask us questions in real time. So check that out. But question coming in: will Israel drop the nuclear bomb in Iran? Like, who's going to
Oh,
drop the bomb? Is it Israel on Iran? Is it?
yeah. Because I don't even think Iran has the capacity to do nuclear now,
Well, that was
supposedly.
the argument of why they went in the first place. Is they're developing nuclear weapons, and then other people, just like Iraq, with like weapons of mass destruction, and then they never found any. Um, is it a lie? Is it a ploy? We don't know. Are they
Right.
close to it? But is Israel going to drop it on Iran?
They are not going to be able to. No. In fact, it is the contrary. Iran will be empowered soon by China. China is staying quiet, but is in no way being left out of the equation. We're not a part of what's going on. They have an agenda here. Their agenda is to overpower America, to overpower all. And they are not friends with Trump or America. It is their sole purpose to, like, bring America down and take America's place or position as maybe the one on
World
top.
global superpower.
Right. And Iran is desirous of um, playing with fire, and China will take advantage of that and empower them to do more. So does that mean that China's going to empower Iran to do like a nuclear bomb or to set one off somehow or something? Or is that it? No, but close enough. It says no, but close enough.
Meaning China will do it for them.
Yes.
The GFL said they're going to get somebody else to do it. So that makes sense. We do have a comment. So this is interesting timing that right now on YouTube, Trump is live and he is saying that Iran warns that a U.S. strike will have everlasting consequences. And Trump's on live right now. Can't hear both, but interesting. So Trump's live right now talking about Iran. So interesting timing that Jesus brought this up.
Well, if that's the case, that means Iran has the ability to have a bomb go to us, and I thought they were completely disempowered. Israel and the US has blown up all their missiles and their military sites, and so I guess they have more ability still.
Well, again, it's going to be China doing it, so not them. So they can be blown to bits if they want. But if China does it, then it doesn't matter what's happening in Iran, right?
Hmm.
I don't know where they're launching it from. So anyway,
Yeah.
but another comment that was completely predicted by another seer or psychic that first Iran, then China, then the world will be in World War III.
So first Iran, we're what? We're at war with Iran, and then we're at
Yeah,
war
first
with China?
Iran, then China. I'm just reading. That's what the comment said. So if they clarify, but yeah,
Right. Is that kind of maybe how it's gonna appear to go like that,
and
where we're
then the
checking?
world.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. China's about to become, um, fiercely aggressive.
What about Russia?
Yeah,
Where are they sitting in all this?
that's a good question. They are willing to take second place under China. Wow.
How does Israel fare in all this? Because I've seen some videos that their plan is to expand Israel into the greater Israel, which will go into Turkey and Syria, and they want to expand as a superpower and a land grab. So, where will they end up since they kind of started this whole predicament?
Israel is going to be destroyed, in about entirely. They are not meant to continue the culture. They have too much. The word is like God, ego, or ego
They
God.
think they're they call themselves the chosen ones.
That's the word he's using, like, maybe feeling that they're, like, maybe superior, or they're more godly, or somehow stand out or special above and beyond everyone else or something, so it's kind of like a God complex, so to speak, and so where it's all ego, and they cannot grow anymore. It just stays stuck in a certain mentality or thinking that's not going to move them out of that, where they can grow and evolve above that limited perception and way of thinking, and also victimhood, and angry at the world, or against the whole world. They're against the whole world or something. It's just kind of like ego stuff. Or maybe just kind of a lower level of consciousness in certain ways. But I guess it's just like not able, the country, the culture, it's not able to get unstuck. And so this is God's way of helping them grow. It really is from love. They need a push. They need a push forward. And so this is going to give them a push forward. Their country will be like really virtually destroyed. There will be nuclear bombs in that country, and kind of decimate or ruin the whole country, or most of it. And so it's not going to continue anymore. I'm sure there'll be people from Israel or Jewish people all over the world, as there is now, but it's not going to continue staying stuck without its country or culture, and continuing to like keep that going. That's getting nowhere. It's just getting nowhere. It's staying stuck. And one thing I have kind of learned from what Jesus taught over the years, or what I've witnessed, is when someone's not able to grow, I mean, we can stagnate for a period of time. I've had times where I've stagnated in my spiritual growth and in my conscience. Totally stayed a limited perspective, and you know what? God will bring me something to force me to continue growing, evolving. Frankly, it's just the way God made the world, I think, how life is. We are continuing to evolve, and events happen as needed to help us continue to grow and evolve. And I guess that's how it's going to be for Israel. That's really going to be needed to kind of be like more like fully destroyed, so they can just get unstuck in that. That's
Wow, that's pretty trippy.
well,
I understand it though.
that's an uncomfortable mindset or identity, is victimhood. Is being a
Mhm.
victim. Believe me, I know that all too well. I try to stay out of that myself. I do my best, but that's an issue for me
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's hard.
That victim mentality is very self-damaging.
Couple questions. So, what can we do right now as light workers? I think the moment she asked that, you actually started talking about what we can do now was give as much love as possible. Stay loving, stay helpful, look out for our fellow humans. So he kind of answered that a little bit earlier. So I just want to make sure that that question was pointed out by our member. I get confused because he does talk about the Garden of Eden and that it existed and we were all part of it. And we were actually in your books too. He talks about us being more, the first humans were more highly evolved. But then we hear that we were genetically modified from the Anunnaki and they took that part out of us so that we're kind
Ah,
of like
question.
handicapped. So how do we marry those 2 stories? Was there a
Exactly.
human one that was, like, evolved or something, and then we left the like, how do those coexist?
Great question, Stacy. So, Jesus, what about that? So many humans, created, peace on earth and were basically, left alone, left to live in your divine state of awareness, knowing who you are, but in human form. And you lived on earth as such, as that. But many others were kind of like forced to like go over here and mine the fields, whatever that means. Mine the fields. So that's interesting. And in time, all were taken. um, excuse me, and not able to live free.
So the Anunnaki seeded us, right? Genetically, we're made they were let us live is what he's saying, like, as
Yeah, many
enlightened.
lived like a quote, what we would call a natural life, but then many were positioned over here or kind of taken from that or bred for to be over here. And eventually, all humans on Earth were not able to live naturally anymore. Is that because they
Did
were
the
virtually kind of taken or physically forced to join the group that were like treated like kind of like slaves to mine the fields? Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay. Were there
Wow.
multiple genetic modifications to make us, like, more compliant as they started taking more humans to be, quote,
Interesting. Yes,
"slaves"?
yes, and yes. They learned by what they were doing to instill a device in the brain. Is this a physical device or energetic? An energetic. Just as like energetic. It is almost physical, but not hard matter, but almost. But it is energetic like. It's a device that basically prevents one from being aware of their source, like spirit energy or consciousness energy goes through the brain, and in that section they blocked it or something. We were, made to be dumb.
Is this device still present, or is it more like a part of the brain, like the amygdala, which causes fear?
It's not in your brains like before, no, but you have all followed along and began to be dumbed down. And there's not even a need anymore for that quote device because, you're already kind of dumbed down, disconnected in our awareness of of our soul, of God, of spirituality, and you are here still to grow and evolve and become aware of God in that you of the God that you are. And like he goes in fullness, like just full awareness, not limited awareness. And he says instead of only knowing basic math, you can know physics and calculus and algebra and all of that. Like we just don't have, we don't have the awareness of that higher awareness. So and there are things to induce the expansion of your soul, of consciousness. And this is what this community's about. You're going to be imparting the way. the Roadmap to God Consciousness, the Hope Technique, which are 3 video courses on our spiritual community, which teach about how to grow spiritually rapidly, and other messages and teachings, and then collaborating and just connecting, and people asking questions and us asking questions, and then talking more. We help each other, you know, collaborating and connecting, and also to help you know how to get through these destructive, tumultuous times ahead, and thrive and survive and help others, to help humanity. So this is what this community's for. This is what these videos are for. And you will be able to like evolve back to, full God awareness, God consciousness. And it's a time where that is being supported like more than ever. Is that implant like energetically in our brain still? Um, no, no, but the effects of it are established
Ooh.
in you. So the effects of those have been established in us.
Can they be
Um,
removed, the effects? Like,
um,
with an energy healer, was her question?
Because, it's like an elephant that's been chained to a pole for years, and then the chain is gone, but the elephant stays right there, not in freedom, doesn't realize it's free to go. It's kind of like that as an example. I've heard of that. That's a good example,
That is
actually.
sad. That is a sad
No, that's
example.
sad. It's actually very sad, isn't it? But that's
Very
how we
accurate.
are.
Can you tell us about the Garden of Eden? And then we will jump into if he wants to talk about feeling closer to God's love and that it's always in you. We'll end on a lighter note. I need, a little positivity for
Yeah,
this
instead of that dark
episode.
topic of, yeah, the
Yeah, let's
Iran
talk about the
war. And
Garden of Eden.
um so what was it like, the Garden of Eden? Great question.
Yeah, I also read in a book that the Anunnaki had the Garden of Eden and they didn't really want the humans to be in there, but then it was almost like an actual physical garden and we broke in and the good brother started sharing it with humanity, some of his knowledge and stuff, and then the others didn't
Maybe
like that
some were
because
living, yeah, like that. And then
yeah, so
um
is that any of that true, first of all, and then we'll
yeah,
talk
is
about
that
what's
true?
true.
Because it is absolutely true. You were made whole, and then intentionally, dumbed down, like intentionally, so you could be happy but not know your divinity. But it did not work out that way. And you all started creating a lot of various manifestations of malfunction, sickness, suffering, destruction, anger, negative emotions from being cut off from God's love and light, being cut off from the awareness of God created malfunctions, dysfunctions, and they did not realize that. And then they created an entire humanity, civilization of people insane, like literally insane. And since you're creators, your mind's thoughts and feelings would enter the equation of what you created, and you create all sorts of dysfunctional things and experiences that manifested more suffering or sickness, and really just an insane world from people that are like insane. We had like our brains like cut off. So it really created a lot of problems and turmoil, and wow. Yeah, they did not know how to correct that. Wow.
Comment coming in, and this ties in closely. It says from the Gnostic perspective, the Garden of Eden was a prison keeping us unconscious. How would the Garden of Eden be a prison keeping us unconscious?
It was completely governed by the Anunnaki, and you had no, like, real power, physical power, or real power over them. And, you were an experiment. Um, since you are God, you are being brought the opportunity to become free and whole and fully aware of who we are. And nothing and no one can stop this automatic flow of supporting awareness and expansion and, and enlightenment and evolving. If it exists, it evolves because that's the nature of God, the creator, I guess, the source of all, the source energy that's in all forms. So yeah, Garden of Eden, Eden. When you say that, and then and simultaneously with that comment, you say peace on earth, and I'm just under the impression that we're all enlightened, we're fully aware of who we are, we're in fullness of life and experiencing the blessings that physical life has to give us. So we can taste wonderful food, experience this warmth of the sunshine. We can go swimming. We can love each other and experience many different expressions of love and joy and happiness. But what is a Garden of Eden to you? And was it like a prison at one time? A prison in the sense that it is a restricted reality. It's a restricted environment that you were placed on or into, put on, and that is earth in and of itself. That's earth. You were put on earth in a human body, and that's very restricting. But, you know, you were able to have the full awareness of who you were in all other realms, in all other dimensions, in all other beings and forms. You were all. And and lost the awareness of being all. And now you have the awareness that you're just the form that you're in. That's all broken and flawed and not good enough and limited and helpless and a victim and a bad sinner, as some say, like religions or Christian. And, we're bad sinners, bad people. And imagine now realizing that you are God in the human form that you're in. Imagine the difference. Imagine the steps that need to take place to be able to have that full awareness. It's a long time in evolution. And you are at a point in time now where you can develop enlightenment, Christ consciousness in this lifetime before you die and on our physical body. So you can then help other humans still suffering in ignorance and lack of awareness and help them physically survive, but then also help them heal so they can also be given knowledge and teachings that we share on our spiritual community given by Jesus and even other angels and spiritual masters like Yogananda and archangels and a whole variety of them, but knowledge and wisdom to grow and expand consciousness. It can happen so quickly now because of the acceleration of the planetary phase and energy that we're in, and everything's moving so quickly. This momentum or force that he mentioned is the Father or is God, and energies, like it's moving more quickly, and you can become in Christ consciousness in this lifetime. It's like very feasible. It's very realistic, which is these simple in nature teachings that we impart, just, share from Jesus, usually mostly, but some others. And then, the community and connecting with each other. We help each other heal and grow. And then also the knowledge we're going to be getting about the world events coming up and how to get through these times well. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that answered the question fully about the Garden of Eden. I'm not sure if it really fully answered that question or not.
Basically kind of said Earth is limitation was the most I got out of the answer to that.
I mean, basic, if we're here on Earth and that's the only awareness we have, that definitely is a prison.
Yeah. How do we escape the reincarnation cycle? I've heard of a couple videos and some people say that if you go to the light, that just keeps you trapped in the cycle of suffering. I would just agree with that. I would say you would go to the light because there's no judgment at death. You review. We talked about this in your books and multiple times with Jesus. You review your life. There is no guilt, shame. It's only love and what you need to grow next. But one of the beings we talked to said breaking the cycle of reincarnation. Can you explain how
Great
we break out
question.
of this prison then?
How do you break the cycle of reincarnation? What an amazing question. Um, and Jesus says, make amends with your past. And what does that mean? Make amends with your past. All the mistakes where you harmed yourself or another. Make amends for all the thoughts, feelings, and actions given out by each of us that harmed yourself or another. It's not to make you feel bad or being judged. It's it all needs to be forgiven. And how do you forgive all of those events or experiences or those energies, whatever you want to call it, thoughts, feelings, actions? Um, you consciously give love instead. Everywhere you turn, every person brought to you in your life, every experience you encounter, respond to it with love, and you will quickly make amends for all of the mistakes that have been made, and consciously, of course. It is just loving energy, kindness, caring, compassion, forgiving, helping, everything that comes, from actions and expressing and words, everything that comes from love, that's lovingness. So it does mean thinking and perceiving and being like Christ.
Okay. Does he want to tell us how to feel closer to God's love? I do want to comment that today I did my juice in the morning. I did my meditation. I did a couple sun salutations. And then I just sat down and decided to have a few minutes with God and just chit chat with him, just 10 minutes of just alone time with God as he recommends in our teachings. And I didn't even have anything really important to say. I just said, God, I'd really like to, I understand everything you've been teaching us, but I still don't, feel or have the direct awareness of you. Just
Right.
basically verbalizing that and just like stating that is my desire. And I just started crying. I just had all these like tears just out of nowhere, just roll down my face.
Right.
So I think it's very beautiful just spending that little bit of time intentionally with the creator, which I think is a good segue into how do you feel closer to God's love that's always within you.
Wow, beautiful. Wow, no, thanks for sharing that. That's wonderful. Yeah, I think oftentimes, like when maybe this is a question, not a comment, but Jesus is that maybe like oftentimes like the Holy Spirit comes in, which is also the Spirit of God. You could even say maybe your spirit, Jesus, but that comes in and then it maybe just kind of so deep or powerful or profound that it just, it kind of takes one's over. I've had that experience before, is my point. And you're just, you can't just absolute, just tears just flooding down your cheeks. And it's just something that is happening to you. It's not because you're sad, because you're thinking about something
Yeah,
or,
I wasn't thinking of anything, I didn't
it's
have any
like it's something, an
emotions, I was just
involuntary response. And is that like, your energy, God's energy coming in and like maybe that initial, it is your own love melting. It's your own love, your own heart's love. It's melting. The love in your heart just kind of starts to melt and the heart starts to open. And then it can just let go of everything that's keeping the heart wound tight or closed or just not open and flowing. And so then it's the love that kind of opens up a little bit because you're giving it your awareness, your attention, your desire to know it more. It is your love, and the it is your father, our father. It is the love energy. It's not a separate being apart from you. It is the love that you are. And giving it a little time in silence and a little attention, little desire, it, awakens it. And that's the initial, like, kind of melting, it opens up and kind of melts a little bit, I guess. So, it's a good description, Jesus. Yeah. How do we feel closer to God and God's love, Jesus? Exactly what I teach in many cultures, communities, organizations, some religions, like, even just some individual people that, all over the world. And in this community, in this spiritual community, it is taught with using different words, and is a perfect fit for each person that comes across it, that's able to hear those words, that's able to take in those teachings. And then another comes, and then another, and you are advanced until you don't need any teachings. You don't need to hear anybody's words. You don't need a religion or an organization or people or books or anything or spiritual teacher or anything, because you're experiencing God so fully. You go from there kind of on your own, I guess. So, no, there's no right or wrong teaching or organization or religion or this or that. It's perfect for the people that feel aligned with it. And, it's like, your level of consciousness. And then if you're going to outgrow that one, so to speak, another comes. So expanding your love is expanding um, God's love. It's the same thing. That is what you think, say, and do. So think and speak and do loving, loving things. And it will grow and grow and grow and grow. And soon you will become filled with so much love and light and happiness and joy and peace and healing and beauty, and your true state of awareness comes up in time, and you'll start to have experiences that are what you would call spiritual, that go beyond the confines of this limited scope of reality that we all live in and know to be the only reality. then I guess we can start going above and beyond that because love is opening your awareness simultaneously. As love expands and we're able to love ourselves and each other more fully, able to love more and express our love more, it expands our consciousness simultaneously. I never quite got that until now. That's
All
actually
about
an
love.
amazing point. So if we're expressing our love more and more, that simultaneously automatically expands consciousness. I never thought of that. And is that right? Is that what you're saying, Jesus? And he goes, yes, yes, yes. The love brings you everything you need to unify with me and our Father as one again. So, if it's something physical, material, spiritual, increased awareness, understanding, knowledge, teachings, a person, everything's brought exactly what you need to go back to the Father's house, to get back to the Father's house, to get back in unity consciousness, really. We're divine beings that, should be able to create anything, experience anything, be in all dimensions, and realize that we actually are all. It's hard for the mind to wrap around that, isn't it? But certainly to know our divinity and know God and experience the presence of God fully within us at all times. That's how we're meant to experience. And many just don't even can't have even an inkling. What does that even feel like? It's the most beautiful comfort and love and joy and peace and probably beyond my understanding, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure it includes all the love and fullness and the
Right.
qualities or feelings that stem from love.
Would you
Probably to
say
a
that
depth I
growing
don't even
spiritually
understand. Pardon?
would you say that growing spiritually would be how you would remove that block that's not even there anymore? Like the effects of that
Yes,
device?
yes, 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 exactly. Yes, growing your soul is also it's expanding your consciousness beyond the minuscule identity of the ego. So we have this, and if we can go beyond that, and you realize all that there really is and all that you really are, and that includes God awareness. Oh, we want that, Jesus. We want to get beyond that, the ego identity that's just keeping us stuck in such a limited, tiny little minuscule state of awareness that's so limited. And as he said before, we're all flawed. We're all broken. We're all separated from God. We're fearful. We're insecure. I mean, that's just the nature of the ego or the identity of the ego. And yeah, we want to get beyond that, Jesus.
I wanna be an elephant not tied to a pole, but sitting around a pole.
Yeah,
Sounds awful.
exactly.
Does he have any, topic for next week?
What are you doing to grow your soul on a daily basis? And one by one by one, I will give you some helpful hints or helpful suggestions on how to maybe enhance that, in ways that you feel good about or good with or that you can do, or a good thing it will be to maybe create a worksheet from this for future reference. Boy, there's more work for Stacy as usual.
All good, don't mind.
Um, yeah, because they're actually, good questions to ask, and then it might be good to have a list of suggestions and get maybe a list of many suggestions that you can pick and choose from. Which one suits you most, or is maybe more desirable or practical for you to do or not do, or whatever it is. And it will help make it simpler, easier, quicker to really kind of see where you're at now and have maybe a clear picture of that. And then also maybe suggestions to enhance that are available, options to choose or something. That sounds neat.
Alright. I love our Sunday conversations. I
All right. Well,
appreciate
thank
you
you so
guys.
much, Stacy. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you all for your comments. Hit like, subscribe, share, and
Yeah.
we'll see you at
Oh,
the next episode.
yes. Bye.